Hey everybody, how's it going? It is time for Tuesdays, just after Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. My name is Joe, Average Joe, as you know. And let's jump right in and see what we got this week. All right. So, I'm a little late. I had a really fucking cool event that I got to go to. And, actually, one of the coolest parts about it for me is, I'm always listening to the podcast and hearing Bill fucking, this week I got to see, fucking Shakespeare live, and this week I got to see this, and fucking this week, it's, he got to fucking go to Barry Manilow on shrooms, and he got himself all wet for Barry Manilow, fucking tripping and enjoying the music and shit. Got all the grandmas around the world, or my grandmas, when they would speak about it at least. But, I got my own event that I went to. And, what happened is I know somebody, a friend of mine that I made up here in Michigan. And, we're close to Detroit. Not super close, but close enough. And, friend I made comes up to me and just says, "Hey, you want to go to a hockey game?" And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm down. Like, hockey's my favorite sport anyways. Yeah, it's not the Tampa Bay Lightning, but, when you like a sport, you like a sport. You're going to watch, if you're actually a sport fan of that sport, you're not going to, say you're, for example, I'm a New York Jets fan, I'm a football fan, but I can't just sit and watch two football teams that I don't give a shit about. And I know the Jets suck anyways, so I don't really watch too much football. But hockey, I can watch, anytime. So, he says, "Hey, you want to go to a game?" I said, "Sure." And it was the Dallas Stars against the Red Wings last night. And so the Red Wings are already out of the playoffs. They're not making it. Dallas is locked where they're at. They can't go up or down. So neither team had anything but really just pride and fun to play for, or proving your spot. But no, so I got to go, and I get asked by my friend, which I'm already surprised. I'm like, holy shit, because they're not asking me to buy a ticket or not. It's just, hey, do you want, we got an extra ticket, do you want to go? I'm like, hell yeah, that's fucking awesome. And we get there, and come to find out it's a guy that so my friend knows a person whose grandfather, now these are just, the grandfather stories, but, I don't, when I listen to stories from older men, especially like the white hair with the cane, those kind of older men, I don't think they're lying. Everybody has the capacity to lie, but I don't see why you would lie. Like, so this guy, for example, I found out, the Great Way, they had like season passes, like private parking, fucking walk down the tunnel to our like nice seats. Right there on the ice. Like, I could throw you could hit the bench from the nosebleeds, but I could almost hit him with the yo-yo. It's like from the to the bench, and so yeah, but the older guy, like I said, what I was gonna say is he's got stories about, he was telling stories about when he was younger, and he used to spend time with mobsters in Detroit and Chicago and stuff, like Jimmy Hoffa and yada yada, and this is how he got in with these guys and with those guys, etc. But I don't know if that's how he got the seats. I don't know if it's the Jimmy Hoffa seats or something, but no, we got these amazing seats to the game. And like I said, my team's the Lightning. They're already in the playoffs. It's my only interest in the game was entertainment factor. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm having fun. And fucking sure as shit, Darren McCarty, which, in the Detroit area, apparently he's like a staple food, he's like at every corner. So it's not as uncommon in this area. But just as a hockey fan in general, he's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings. And he's a hardcore, like, partying dude. I mean, down to earth, nice as fuck. But he looks like the kind of guy that would walk up and, like, just punch you right in your shit and walk away. That's what he looks like. But he's walking down the steps, you know. Like I said, our seats are real, like, close, good seats. So everybody in front of us is probably all family, you know, like the wives on. You know, they show the wives holding the baby up, and the guy scores a goal, and he goes over and, like, you know, gives daps to the glass between him and his baby or something. You know, it was all those kind of people in front of us, I figured. But McCarty walks past. And I look over to my friend and the guy, you know, the family that invited me, and I'm like, that's Darren McCarty, isn't it? And they look, and they're like, sure as shit is. And I was like, all right, well, when he gets back up to go to leave his seat, I was like, I'm getting a picture with him, you know? Just like I said with Bill, you know, it's not about the fucking, you know, oh, you know, you fucking signed my tits, oh my God, I'm so, you know, starstruck. I mean, dude, the guy held the Stanley Cup 4 times. He brought it home 4 times. He got out of his seat, and right at intermission, he got out of his seat. I was like, look out, this is my fucking shot. And I fucking went into the stairway, and I stood there waiting. And he walks up, and I'm like, Darren, bro, what's up? And he's like, yo, what's up, man? And I'm like, yo, look, you know, fucking care if I get a pic real quick? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Fucking snap a picture, bam. Now, you know, now I got to, you know, meet and greet for free. For free, as Bill Burr would say, absolutely free. But yeah, I got to meet him. I didn't have to pay for fucking, you know, an autograph. Like, you wait in those lines with your kids, and it's like you spend like $80, you know, like at Comic-Con or something. You spend like $100 to get a fucking picture with, you know, like the girl who played fucking, you know, Superwoman or something. I apologize to the actress. I forget her name, because she is a real pretty, real sweet actress. I didn't mean to pick on her specifically. I was just thinking of a comic, or, you know, like a Superman, you know, Wonder Woman, whatever. You know, you go and you go to Comic-Con, or you go to one of these cons to meet these people. It's like $80 to meet them, another $50 for a picture, and then like another $30 for an autograph. Here I am at a hockey game, and just because I'm in the right section, and I got the fucking balls to meet somebody, I stopped this dude in his tracks. And then, you know, my friends, they're like, dude, what if he was pissed and he just fucking hit you? And I said, well, then you better been recording, you know, because either way, dude's getting stopped. You know, I'm not stopping him violent. You know, I'm just, either way, yeah, you're getting a, hey, buddy, can I get a picture? If he says no, I'm not going to bitch at him. You know, what do you mean no? You know, he's retired. He earned his fucking championships here. He earned his stripes, you know. But, no, that was cool as shit, you know. So I got, you know, first class seats to a hockey game that I wasn't invested in. So that was the best part, because I didn't have to stress, you know, like when Dallas took the lead in the middle period. Oh, look at that. We actually got a real duck. Sorry, Florida doesn't have the same ducks that we got up here. And so I like seeing actual like ducks like you see on TV. But no, back to the fucking game. So yeah, we got, you know, luxury seats down this tunnel, fucking tunnel to our parking spot, tunnel to the seats. Deluxe, well, that's what they called it. Deluxe cocktails, fucking. The only shitty part was our seats were the good seats. So when they did like the t-shirt cannon and the fucking the giveaways, like where they throw shit into the crowd, it's all they were throwing like way over our heads and past us. So that was the only shitty part about that. Is like I was like, okay, so that makes sense. You get the good seats, you get the bad good seats, but you don't get the giveaway shit, like the free shit. But no, yeah, so that either way, that was fucking awesome for me, because, you know, like I said, Bill's always Barry Manilow, and fucking, I got to go see Addams Family, or whatever, you know, whatever fucking shows he's getting to see, and whatever comedians or actors he gets to meet. On that note, I watched the episode of Mandalorian just to see him in it, and of course, I don't want to say he's typecast, but yeah, I'd say Bill is typecast. You know, that was the Bill Burr of Star Wars. You know, if you got any other kind of acting, I don't know. I get it. They threw a little bit of comedy in there. Like when he got in that fucking Star Wars truck thing and the lady was talking and he's like, geez, I wonder how fun it'd be to ride in one of these with you. That's classic Bill Burr, you know, the nagging woman, you know, and it's funny they added the Star Wars. That's fine. Good for you, Disney. And Disney's got Hulu, so that makes sense why Burr's on Hulu. But it brings me back to that comment that the guy, one of my first comments that wasn't actually ragging on me, said Bill Burr was a corporate sellout now, and I didn't disagree, but looking at it now, you know, it's like, dude, he, like I said, he's in Star Wars, but he doesn't act like a Star Wars character. He acts like a Bill Burr in a fucking like in a stormtrooper suit, you know, or something. So it's kind of weird. It's a little weird, but you know, I'll give him credit, you know, for not acting or for, you know, for the experience in acting that he has or had. He did good. I'm not bitching at all. But yeah, it was still the Bill Burr vibe. And being in Star Wars, you know, that's you got to be able to play the part. You know, you got to be able to, like the fucking Obi-Wan guy. He's been in some other movies, and I don't look at him as Obi-Wan. Or, you know, when he's in Star Wars, you don't, you know, see the other characters that he's played. But unfortunately, with Bill, maybe they wrote the lines like that, or maybe, you know, he ad-libbed or something. But yeah, he didn't convince me that he was a Mandalorian or a fucking in jail for whatever the fuck, you know. I don't know the story. I just watched to see if he was actually in it. So I saw a meme online that said it was Bill Burr making fun of Star Wars fans, but it said actually they're really cool. So I was like, well, let me see if he's in it. But yeah, so I got my you know, first Wings game being living in Michigan. Bill mentioned the rich people and their robots, and my first thought, I went back to Johnny Five. I don't even remember that movie. The robot, he was like rolling around on wheels, and he wanted input. That's all he cared about. He's like, input, I need input. He just wanted to learn. And then at the end, they wanted to take him apart, and that's what Bill's saying about, you know, these robots. He's like, you know, you need to unplug them and get rid of them. And my first thought is, no disassemble, we're gonna have fucking, you know, 10 years from now, Bill's gonna have his nanny robot taking care of his kids. Which, funny quick side note, if Bill says that the problem in the world is the population, why the fuck did you have kids? You know, are you saying that you're better than everybody else and that your kids deserve to be alive, but that the common folks shouldn't have kids because there's too many people? You know, are you being that hoity-toity? Because I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. But I mean, you can't sit there and have, you know, fucking 2 kids minimum, and then tell the rest of the world there's too many people, because you're making people. And as much as, you know, you could be a good parent, Nia could be a good parent, you don't know how those kids are going to turn out. I mean, shit, my parents were around and I'm not fucking rich. But yeah, so he's going to have a nanny bot running around yelling at him not to disassemble her. And he mentioned, speaking of the Barry Manilow show, I wanted to say, because he was talking about, he did shrooms, and yeah, he did the shrooms, and then fucking, you know, jammed out, or he was vibe. That's what he said. He was vibing to Barry Manilow. I was thinking about it, and shrooms I haven't done as much, but I was thinking about it, and acid. Anytime I've ever done acid, what I actually get is damn, she's good looking. I hear the Pink Floyd, not the actual words, but I hear their fucking, like the background tones, the tones to the music, I guess you could say, like the background Pink Floyd tones, the real deep, not deep, but kind of, I don't even know how to call it, like not a bass. Yeah, I mean, maybe a bass, but it's not like a thumping, you know, it's more drawn out. Anybody knows Pink Floyd knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not going to make this sound because it's going to sound dumb as shit on this fucking recording. But But yeah, that's what I hear. So I thought that was funny because I wasn't even at a concert. That's just what I hear. Bill said he got a new hour he's got to do, and he's not done an hour in a while, so he's nervous about it. I think they should record all the hours. How many, like the YouTube, like I said, there's the, what do they call them? The bootlegs. And I know you don't make money on it, but dude, you're doing this in a club anyway. You're not recording it, so the money you're making is on tickets and, beer sales, whatever. Why not fucking just, get a regular old camcorder from the 2000s, Like, you don't even gotta, like, bootleg it yourself. Do it for the fucking fans. Do it for people like me and people that listen to shit that, want to fucking actually, hear your new jokes as you develop them. Because, the shit in the special was the same shit from the last special. And I didn't really, besides the new Easy Going Bill and a couple of jokes here and there, it was kind of repetitive. Let's see. Oh, he was talking about the God and the devil. He was doing the Job story, and he was talking about God and the devil, having like the little standoff about who Job would follow. And I don't know if it, coincidentally or coincidentally, however you want to put that. I started watching that Exploding Kittens on Netflix, and it's about God and the devil getting put in cat bodies, and I don't know if they're competing or working together, but I was thinking about it because he's talking about it, and I'm watching that show, and I'm like, if they were sitting together having a drink, would God order a Virgin Bloody Mary or a Bloody Mary? Because if that was if you follow all that, that's Jesus' mom was the Virgin Mary. So does he get a Virgin Bloody Mary? And then even that sounds like a not a paradox, but how do you have a virgin and bloody? It's either you either got a Bloody Mary or a Virgin Mary, unless you fucking hit her. But that's not a godlike thing to do. So yeah. Well, but what drinks are they having? And then what's a good drink for the devil? What would that be? I mean, you already know the devil's three-way is what he's doing after they get done drinking, but I don't know what God would do. Do they have the angels blow? I don't know what they have, but yeah, I thought about the Bloody Mary, the Virgin Bloody Mary. I don't even know if they fucking make it, but my head went right to it, so it was funny to me. Then he mentions the sweatshops and all that. I do want to say I agree. Yes, jobs were not stolen by China. No, like Chinese people, Mexican, folk, they didn't come to the United States and say, hey, screw old Bob over here who's working for, $10 an hour in, say, 1995. I don't know, whatever. But, either way, they didn't say, screw Bob. You should close this company down and bring it to me. No, what happened is, like Bill said, we got our wages high, and these companies realized, whether it was China or Africa or whatever, the companies realized, oh shit, these places don't give a flying fuck if, child labor, etc., slave labor, whatever, cheap labor. And on that note, what I was going to say is, I'm not going to mention the company name because I don't have proof on my own, but from what I've read and studied, there's a company that 70% of their chocolate comes from slave or child labor, and their average family that they pay for their cocoa beans that are harvested to make their chocolate, they pay $1.25 a day on average, and that's the parents and the children, and none of them have protective equipment. They're all working in harsh conditions, sunlight, rain, heat. Sharp materials, etc., and the kids especially with no protection. But that's what's stolen our jobs, guys. It's and same thing with the protesters. I agree with them in a way. Yes, it is hypothetical because no, not every fucking traffic jam is gonna have a lady delivering her baby in the back seat or somebody late for their job for the last time, but at the same time, hypothetical means it could happen. So I agree with you, Bill, on that part, because yes, you very well could be blocking somebody from their job, and now they lose their job because you are mad at the oil company, or the big whatever, what big pharma or whatever. So I'm with Bill on that. Don't fucking sit here and, like he said, don't trash your neighbor because your boss isn't paying you enough. If your boss isn't paying you enough, get mad at your boss. But that's another thing. Bill says, how do you expect people to agree with you if they're mad at you? Well, the point of making them mad is you piss them off because you're pissed off, and you got to get them mad to see your point. Because, I mean, making them happy is, yes, that's one way, but happy without agreement is just happy. So it's like, I picture, like, when Bill was talking, I think about, all right, so I'm protesting. Say I'm protesting, and every person that drives by, I hand them $10 and say, hey, you guys are polluting. You guys need to drive electric cars. This is ruining our planet. Here's $10. Do you think they're going to be like, dude, guy gave me $10. I'm going to get an electric car. Let's save the planet. No, they're not doing that. They're taking the $10 and they're saying, who gives a fuck what the guy at the sign says? So yeah, what happened is they probably started out peaceful, and as shit went along and the peaceful didn't work, that's when they started getting pissed off. Now blocking the road in the middle of a fucking regular street, that's not the correct solution. But I agree I see where they're pissed off, and I see where Bill's coming from. The dude who wrote in, I agree, you're not really defending your argument too well. But that's for you, not for me. Thank God. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got, because I did have some notes, but like I said, I had a fucking amazing time last night. Didn't get home till like midnight. Oh, and then I got on fucking TV. I saw they were doing the fucking intermission report. If you watch the game, if you actually listen this fucking far into this cast, if you go back to ESPN Plus, or if you somehow can go back to to watch the Dallas at the Red Wings Monday the 14th of April, the second intermission report, they were showing stats, and I saw the guys talking, and right when they switched the camera, you saw the red light come on, and they were on. I got a red jacket, a Red Wings jacket, and a blue Tampa Bay Lightning beanie on, and I was watching, because I recorded it at my house, and I was watching to see if I made it on TV, and I come flying across that fucking camera, dude. But obviously behind the guys that are talking, they're in their booth, like, raised up. I'm, like, down where, like, the Good Morning America window people would be, But you see them all standing there waving, like, hi, Mom, and then you see me come flying into the fucking screen, like, hardcore. I did have a few drinks, but like I said, I was having a blast. And the fact that I came flying in, that just made me even happier, because now not only did I go to a game with fucking, like Bill Burr level seats, like box level seats, fucking got to meet a player, that's a champion, fucking did it myself, had the balls to do it myself, walked up to the guy my fucking self, just like if you saw somebody in New York, I'd walk right the fuck up and say, hey, you're Scarlett Johansson, aren't you? Well, why, yes, I am. What do you want? What's the problem? Whatever. Well, I just like a picture real quick, just get to say I met you. It's, like I said, you say, no, I'm not going to bitch. You say, yes, I'm taking a fucking picture. But, no, it was cool shit. So, yeah, if you, go back to that show, and, you'll see the same fucking outfit basically that's on my YouTube picture with the that beanie, but a different red jacket. Not my flannel, but an actual Red Wings jacket. But so needless to say, I made it on ESPN, Fox, and I met a player, and I got fucking luxury seats, all from a guy that knows my friend who hung out, like I said, who knows an older guy who claims to have hung out with Jimmy Hoffa and, a bunch of other members of, old school gangs and shit. But he's white haired and walks with a cane, and, he's retired and doing his thing now. So, there's no gangster in him anymore. But you could tell, I could tell when I listened to this guy's stories, I could tell he might have held a pistol up to somebody once or twice, I don't know. But he's that cool just tells the stories and sits on the couch guy now. And, I respect that. I like that. But, so yeah, last thing. It's a decent thing. There's a lady I know, I think she's a double agent. Like how, like with the JFK files, now they say, they had the double agents, like 40-something fake CIA badges and blah, blah, blah. I don't know who she works for or what she works for, but enough people in my job have come to the conclusion that there's something that none of us know about, that she knows about, or she's doing, or trying, that's going on. And like I said, none of us are aware fully, but we're aware that something's amiss. Just like with the JFK, everybody now, you can pretty much tell something, like Oswald, there's no fucking way, not Oswald, but there's no way, you see in the film the shot from the front, like the blowback, and the material gets blown all over the guy behind him. How do you shoot from the back and the material? I mean, I get it. I've seen some blowback, but I mean, yeah. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's a whole nother fucking can of worms. But the point is, no, this lady, we enough people that I know, that I've met here have come to the conclusion that she's, like I said, a double agent for who, for what, whether it's just at work, whether it's working home, whether she's like a freaky swinger with her husband, or whether she works for some government agency, or who fucking knows what it is. But she's definitely got a sneaky side to her that it's kind of sketchy. Not in like a life or death, like that sketchy, but it's like, like what is your fucking purpose? Like not even life purpose, because it's the purpose is to live, but like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because you sure aren't working. Or if you are, it's like, you sure are interested in everybody else. So, yeah, we might have a double agent on our hands here, and with all the file releases and all the political bullshit going on, it's interesting, I want to get all fucking, Sherlock Holmesy, and fucking investigate. But, yeah, so on that note, that's what I got for Bill. That's what I got for you guys. Awesome fucking hockey game, awesome seats, awesome night. Fucking, I'll never forget it. Thanks to the people who, brought me. Thanks to my friend for offering to, ask if I could go. Thanks to the family. Like I said, it was a fucking amazing night. I got pictures and videos that I'll never forget. Got to meet people that are in the Hall of Fame or will be. So, yeah. It was a fucking killer weekend for me. But on that note, I spent a shitload at the fucking game, getting souvenirs and extra drinks and shit. So I fucked myself on money. Bill talking about, if shoes were made in the U.S., they'd be $700. I can't afford them. You can afford $700, Bill. Get the fuck out of here. I could get a $700 pair of shoes. I wouldn't be able to pay my rent probably that month, but I could get it. So, bullshit, you couldn't afford it. And even then, I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to comment on it. And that had nothing to do with my double agent. That was just another note that I fucking left out. But, yeah, so I had a great weekend, but now I'm broke and I'm fucking struggling financially and I'm stressed out about how I'm going to make the money up. But it was worth it because I lived that moment, and who knows, you might not be alive tomorrow or the next day. So I'm gonna enjoy today like it's the last, just like yesterday and the days before. On that note, have a safe, happy, healthy week, everybody. Go fuck yourselves. Bill, you rich, semi-rich cunt, go fuck yourself even more. Fucking enjoy your fucking play in New York, you son of a bitch. It's all in love and fun. All is fair in love and war. I'm just rambling because I have nothing else to say. Talk to you Friday. Go fuck yourself.